Welcome to Talking Dance. Today is a very important topic. I've named it Compare and Despair because, in my opinion, with the social media out there that's so prevalent in today's dancers' world, that it can have a very positive effect, yet extremely negative. Now, I panel today, and we're very privileged to have the esteemed Will Centurion and Adene Cassidy with us today. You know, I've been a dance educator now for over 40 years, and the changes in the last 10 years has got to have such an effect on understanding from the teacher's point of view, the parents, and the children coping with it. There's no use just concentrating on technique without the holistic dancer. Understanding the mind and body go together. You know, they're not going to excel and have a career or even enjoy this wonderful art without having a healthy mind and body.
I think the world's changing at such a rapid pace, and technology has become such a big part of it that we just almost have to become aware of what that means and shift our mindset to be able to cope with that. And that's the direction that we're headed in. Technology is a massive domain and plays a great part in both inspiring, but can also, be detrimental at times.
Would you think that social media and technology has been one of the most significant changes you've seen to the industry?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it can be a wonderful way. Now, if I'm teaching a repertoire piece for a student, it's very easy for me to say, okay, I want you now to go and study this by this ballerina, and they can look on YouTube, whereas in my day, there was none of that. No. So this is the positive of it. But the negative is they can do their own searches and they can see pictures that are photoshopped and try and emulate. They're not gymnasts, they're artistic athletes. And that can affect the body, of course, and some of this is career ending. I mean, the rest that is out there that's comparing and artificial, which I think is leading to some body image messages and them trying to emulate the wrong thing, and it can be soul destroying, and that's the compare and despair message. The other thing that I see that really does concern me is the amount of social media that parents are putting up with children in skimpy costumes and leg mounts towards the camera, and I just worry these are real children.
Sitting down with your child, or if they're just loading onto Instagram for the first time, or setting up an account, or Facebook, or whatever social media it is, and helping them understand that Instagram is not real. It's a really small snapshot of that person's life, and they're not going to upload the leg mount where they've fallen over. So it's actually about giving them the tools. And screen time, probably to me, is it's free, it's easy to use, and it actually helps a 12 or 13-year-old navigate that world themselves. That the motion of Instagram, for example, is like a pokey. So your finger is scrolling, and every time you get a notification, there's that ping that goes off that makes you feel loved. And that if you don't break that cycle, it gets worse. And I've seen it for myself when the screen time app is not applied, that need to check social media or get a notification is really strong, and it's much harder to control. We think that, but it's actually not, because the minute you put the screen time app on and you take away that constant motion, you will see a change in your child. The other thing I always say as well, which I think is a really a good piece of advice for anyone on Instagram, is, does your post tell a story? Or is it a vacuous post, which is a selfie? And I know we're in a selfie era, But does your selfie even tell a story? And is it a story that you want to look at in 10 years' time, or you want your headmaster to see, or your ballet teacher, or your future ballet company to see? Are you happy with the post? And if you actually take the time to stop and think about what you're posting, and if there is a message or a story, probably you're not going to post half of what you normally do. And I think that's a really good way to self-regulate, like what you were talking about before.
It's tapping into the why.
Yeah, that's right.
You're tapping into the why am I doing this?
Yeah.
Like what am I trying to fulfill here? What is the underlying need? Yeah, for me to put this shot on a public forum and have people respond to it. Like what am I trying to gain from that? Yeah, it's the why.
And then, of course, there's the issue of the predators out there that prey on these young children.
100%. Yeah. And I think the internet has made that really easy for them. And that's a scary thing. And I also think you shouldn't be afraid to have that chat with your child either. In the same way that you say, don't jump into a car with somebody because of this, you have to have that same conversation.
It's great that you sort of put it that way. I always think parents, put the oxygen mask on you first before you put it on your child. Yeah?
Yeah.
Bring some self-awareness to you and to your methods. Yeah. Check in with your anxiety, check in with your values, check in with your agenda, and then have a conversation with your child.
And quite honestly, when I started to put my Progressing Ballet Technique program out there, I knew nothing about the social media world at all. I'm from the old school. Only a few years later, my program has gone global because of this. So obviously, the message is out there for the teachers to follow my program. So it's been wonderful for PBT. And it can be wonderful used in a positive way for these young students. I love to educate them in that broad range and, say, I'll talk to the children each week about their favourite artists. And all of this is wonderful. So we need to grasp the positive and educate the parents and teachers, I think, on the negative sides. And it's just awareness. And look, I thank you so much, because this is close to my heart, because training the holistic dancer is very important to the dance world, and they're precious children as well. And I think parents just need that education. So thank you so much for coming along today to chat.
Thanks for asking us. Thanks, Marie.